Hello little friends, welcome back to our channel, Wisdom for Kids. I'm so glad you're here again today. Last time we learned how God asked Noah to build a big boat, an ark, because a great flood was coming. Even though no one else believed, Noah obeyed God. He trusted him and did everything exactly as God said. That took courage, hard work, and faith. Today, we'll see what happens when the rain finally comes. This is the moment when the ark is finished, the animals come, and the door is closed. Today's story is called The Flood Covers the Earth, from Genesis chapter 7. Let's get started. Episode 7. The Flood Covers the Earth. Genesis chapter 7, verses 1-24. After years of building the ark, the day finally came. God said to Noah, "Go into the ark, you and your whole family, because I have found you righteous in this generation." Genesis 7-1. God gave Noah final instructions. He said to bring 7 pairs of every kind of clean animal, and 1 pair of every kind of unclean animal, and 7 pairs of every kind of bird. Genesis 7-2-3. These animals would be safe on the ark during the flood. They would also help start life again when the water went away. God said, 7 days from now, I will send rain on the earth for 40 days and 40 nights, and I will wipe from the face of the earth every living creature I have made. Genesis 7-4. Noah didn't ask questions. He didn't wait. Genesis 7-5 says, Noah did all that the Lord commanded him. So Noah gathered his family, his wife, his 3 sons, and their wives. They brought food into the ark. Then the animals came just as God said they would. Genesis 7-8-9. Big animals like elephants and lions. Small animals like squirrels and lizards. Birds of every color and kind. 2 by 2, they entered the ark, male and female. And then something only God could do happened. Genesis 7:16 says, Then the Lord shut him in. God closed the door of the ark. The sky grew dark. The wind began to blow. And then the rain began to fall. It rained hard. It poured from the sky. For 40 days and 40 nights, the rain never stopped. Genesis 7:12. But it wasn't just rain from above. Water burst out from underground too. Genesis 7:11 says, All the springs of the great deep burst forth, and the floodgates of the heavens were opened. Water rushed over the land. Streams turned into rivers. Rivers overflowed. Lakes grew bigger. And soon, even the tallest mountains began to disappear. Genesis 7:19. Everything outside the ark was covered in water. All the people and animals that were not in the ark were swept away. It was a sad and serious moment. God's warning had come true, but inside the ark, it was safe. The animals were dry. Noah and his family were together. God was protecting them. The Bible tells us that the water rose higher and higher for 150 days. Genesis 7:24. That's almost 5 months of floating. The ark bobbed gently on top of the deep water like a giant wooden boat on a wide sea. There was no land in sight, no trees, no houses, only water and the ark and the promise that God had not forgotten. Noah trusted that God had a plan. He remembered that God always keeps his word. Can you imagine what it was like inside the ark? The animals needed care. The family probably had to feed them and clean up after them. They probably sang songs and prayed together, waiting patiently. And they waited and waited. But even when the world outside was full of water, Noah knew that God was still with them. Today, we learned that God keeps his promises, even the hard ones. He sent the flood just as he said he would. But he also protected Noah, his family, and the animals. God takes sin seriously, but he also provides a way of rescue. Noah listened, obeyed, and stayed close to God. And because of that, he was safe even in the biggest storm the world has ever seen. Sometimes storms come in our lives too. We may feel scared or unsure, but like Noah, we can stay close to God. We can trust him. We can wait for his plan, because God is always watching. He sees you, he hears you, and he will never forget you. So the next time you hear rain falling, remember the ark, and remember that God always keeps his word. See you next time, friends. In our next episode, the rain will stop, the water will go down, and something amazing will appear in the sky. Do you know what it is? That's right, a rainbow. Good night and sleep tight.